When I was 3 years old, this machine fell on top of me. And as a result of that accident, this is the body that I live in today. It's called a cotton harvester. We called it a cotton picker growing up. My uncle was driving, Dad and I were standing on the deck, and as we drove along, no one spotted that a tree or log had fallen into the crop. We drove over top of it. The machine tipped over and landed on top of me. One of the bars of the deck landed across here, and as a result, it overstretched and tore nerves at my spine in the back here. But here's the thing. Nerves feed muscles, and without that connection, well, several muscle groups atrophied and never developed. Like I don't have my right chest muscle or the tricep, which then feeds to the arm. So I can close my right hand fairly well, but opening it is a bit of a challenge. I don't have the shoulder muscle, back muscles in the back either. And my right leg is curved more and twisted out a little bit. Oh, in the back as well. Slight curve there as well. But here's the thing. The physical stuff, yes, that's the very visible injury, but the true challenge, the difficulty growing up, is in the mind. It was the emotional, distraught feelings, coping with all of this. That was the real challenge. Many, many years ago, my brother and his friends put on a little bit of local community theater, and I got a small role as the comedic relief, a crotchety grandpa. And throughout rehearsals, I discovered where the beats in the comedy were, where the guaranteed laughs were. And so when we performed it live, oh, that giddiness of when I knew that moment was going to hit. And then inevitably the crowd roared up in laughter. Oh, that was a visceral feeling of joy and happiness. It's moments like that made me realize, like, oh yeah, this is it. Oh yeah. I mean, doesn't everyone want to be an actor, entertainer, some sort of a public figure? Adults who become scientists, tradespeople, financiers, I mean, they're all just failed entertainers, right? At least that's what a young Cornelius thought. But young Cornelius also knew that he did not look like those leading men in the movies. He was never going to look like them. There were very real reasons. I mean, on the cover of magazines, oof, that button gets undone quite often. I mean, we'll see him shirtless quite often. We got to show off those hot bods, right? But I couldn't be that. And that was devastating. Now, I did scheme. I thought to myself, what if I made myself some sort of an outfit that had muscles built into it? I'd work out the left side and then sew in the bits on the right. Or, even better, if I could get some sort of a suit made that I could wear underneath that actually looked like a real body, I just might be able to get it by everyone in the casting room. It was fantastical thinking. That young Cornelius, he didn't actually believe himself. That was never going to happen. But I did go into that words. But I did go to design school. And you know what, young Cornelius? Here you go, bud. You are the leading man. You know what, in fact, no. GQ doesn't deserve you. Let's put you on CQ magazine. Oh, dancing. One of the most beautiful things the human body can do. To just have the liberty to be able to move around at will and express oneself. Oh. Seriously, one of the most gorgeous things the body can do. So, in early 20s, Cornelius was going to do something about it. He was going to learn to free himself from this cage he felt he was in. So I signed up for a hip-hop class. Felt awkward, felt weird. But we got 4 moves to start. We did them real nice and slow. Okay, all right. I can do this. Okay, speed it up a little bit. Okay, all right. Okay, still keeping up and a little faster. All right. Oh boy, all right. And now full speed. Whew, okay, that was a bit of a doozy. Now add 4 more. 4 more? Okay. All right, okay, and that, okay, yeah, okay, those are the first 4, and then at full speed, I'm just trying to remember the moves. Okay, and now we're gonna add another 8? What, we're not bringing them down to 4 anymore? Do you think my arm moves like that? Don't think about it. Just think, don't think, just do. How am I supposed to if I can't remember what the moves are? I'm trying to think about the moves, but you're going too fast. What do you mean I would leave the classes in rage because I just couldn't free myself to do it, to let go and just be and do. I remember there was one specific moment. We were leaving the class and I was outside the building. There was this woman who had been in the class as well. We were both standing at the stoplight. And she just walked off. And I felt this deep rage. And I think the rage I felt was like she just went and did a dance class and enjoyed it. And I just left fuming. Like, why can't I let go and be? Above all else, though, forget the acting, the performing, the dancing, all that stuff. The one thing that I craved the most was the gentle touch of a partner. No one was romantically interested in me, but oh boy, did I desire it. I was rejected all the time. To be fair, okay, there was Susan. Susan was quite into me. It was obvious, but she didn't have hips and she had a flat butt. Oh, right, okay, and I also have to be honest, there was Ashley as well. Now, Ashley, she was a bit on the chunky side. So, I mean, I realize this now, but I didn't know it at the time. The truth was that I just found these things wrong with them because it was a way of eliminating them as potential partners. And well, I didn't like myself physically, and so I just put it upon them and found things wrong with them. So if those things existed, I didn't have to engage with them. I didn't have to be vulnerable and let them in. Because heavens forbid anyone were to see this. Oh, the amount of shame I carried about my body. For the longest time, I wore a baseball cap every time I left the house. You wouldn't see me without it. Now, this cowboy hat, it's a story for another time, but I felt naked without it. And you would never see me without a long sleeve shirt. This body was hidden. And the first time I had a partner and actually they touched me, they put their hand on my right chest. Oh, the panic I felt. I immediately slid it back to the left side. At which point they just casually moved it back. Absolutely not. Keep it there where I actually have a chest muscle. And only when I eventually did start dating, nobody mentioned it until I asked, and at which point they said, yeah, that's who you are. It's part of you. And it was so anticlimactic because I'd felt this absolute anguish between desiring a partner, but also just an absolute inability to allow anyone in, only to realize all that shame was for naught. Today, it is. It is neither good, it is neither bad, it is. I ended up spending the first 30 years of my life dedicated to processing the emotions and feelings around this injury. And now it's a part of who I am. I do not evaluate it as good or bad. I do not try to make it everything, and I do not forget about it. It is. I've tried as much as I can to level my emotions. The main thing when it comes to this injury today that I focus on is the pain. It turns out having an asymmetrical body slowly over time will cause problems. And so for me specifically, in the last couple of years, I've started to get hip pain on the left side. I've overused the left side. And so when I walk, I always say to myself, stand up straight, good posture, turn in the right leg, push off with the right leg. I do my exercises. I stretch on the left side to loosen these muscles. They've tightened quite a bit. And then I try as best as I can to build the muscles on the right-hand side. I'm trying to create balance. Now, mind you, it still crops up every once in a while. Like when I see myself from behind, that's the part of my body I've built the least relationship with. I've seen it the least. And so editing this together, seeing photos, even just seeing photos that are candid that I didn't take of myself, I'll still get a little jolt like, ooh, right, I have an injury. But it doesn't overwhelm me and dominate my mind like it used to. It is. My injury is. I am.